Okay. So Chibem just put off 18. I just want to put that in the beginning of this video so that we'll know that I'm constantly being abused. And this is a cry for help.
Wow. Hey. See me about here, just innocent me.
Oh my goodness. Oh my god. All right. So we're talking about healthy relationships today. And I have a few points written down. I'm going to read from them because I do forget stuff. So, yeah. When most people get into relationships, I think there's some assumption that healthy relationships mean that you're not going to fight. And nothing could be further from the truth. Because you're going to fight. It's two different people coming from two different backgrounds, two different ways of life. They've been raised differently in different households, coming together to form a unit. How do you expect to not fight? The problem isn't if you fight, it is how you do it, right? And healthy relationships are going to have fights. It's always about the how as opposed to the if. Another thing about healthy relationships that I feel like a lot of people don't understand or that they don't realize is that your partner's individuality is important. Who they are as a person without you involved in their life, right? It's important. And individuality doesn't just die because a person decided to love you. It doesn't work like that. And if you can't love somebody and make room for their individuality, that's already a toxic relationship. Yeah, there was no other word to use. And I don't even like to use the word toxic because I feel like the word has been abused.
Toxic.
Shut up. If you can't accept your partner's individuality, if you can't make room for it, that's already problematic in a relationship, right? So healthy relationships have you accepting that this person is an individual first before they are my partner, right? And you're going to have to make room for their individuality. Remembering that your partner is a person first before they are a unit when it comes to two of you, right? And encouraging their individuality and also not trying to shrink them, right? It's one thing for you to get to somebody that you know that, okay, fine, maybe in the beginning, the person has told you, this is how I live my life. And I'm not speaking of those people who say, oh, that's just how I am. No, I'm speaking like, I've said this thing before on my Instagram stories where I've said, maybe you want to, like for men, you want to date somebody who lives a certain lifestyle, right? Who is like used to outsourcing stuff, used to outsourcing chores. And you want to date this woman, and because you want to date her, you now expect that, oh, okay, she needs to start doing chores herself, because why don't she be doing chores herself? You want to date her, so she must adjust her lifestyle to suit you. You're already a problematic person. Like, why does she need to shrink to make you comfortable, right? And why do you even have a problem with the fact that she outsources? Shouldn't your goal in somebody's life be to English? Shouldn't your goal in someone's life be to ease their struggles, make it less stressful, make life easier for them? Shouldn't that be your goal? If that's not your goal and you're coming in someone's life to make it harder, increase the level of stress that they have, please get out. That's the best I can do. Get out.
Follow the dog.
We're gonna have to be putting subtitles for Chibem's comments. But yeah, like, if you're not coming to make someone's life easier, like, please leave them alone, because they were doing really good without you, right? So yeah, in that kind of situation, yeah, like, you shouldn't have to shrink to keep anybody comfortable. It's one thing to know that, okay, fine, I need to evolve and some of my characteristics or my behaviors don't aid this relationship, right? And they are negatively affecting us. It's another thing for you to shrink for somebody just so that the other person can be comfortable. And one thing about shrinking is that when you shrink to a certain point, and I think there's another thing that people don't understand, if you consistently shrink for someone else, right? And you're getting smaller and getting smaller and getting smaller, a few years down the line, one day, that person that you shrunk, like the part of you that you shrunk, will seek to expand. And that's the thing, it always happens. Once that part of you begins to seek to expand, it becomes a problem for your partner because they are not used to seeing that part of you. They don't know who that part of you is because when they asked, you killed that person. So now that you're deciding to expand, or you cannot keep the person that you shrunk confined anymore, and you decide to expand, your partner now has a problem with it. And it's like, oh, you were never like this. You changed overnight, bam, break up or divorce. So it's important that in healthy relationships, you remember to keep your individuality, right? To be expressive of your individuality, because that's important. And the healthier you even are with expressing of your individuality, the better your relationship and the more that it thrives. Next one is emotional responsiveness. Now, there's a whole thing that Dr. Sue Johnson, the founder of emotionally focused therapy, said about emotional responsiveness, and I'm going to explain it. So he said there are 3 elements of emotional responsiveness: accessibility, responsiveness, and engagement. For accessibility, are you available when I need you? Can I access you when I need you? Right? For responsiveness is, can you celebrate the good with me? And like the good times, can you celebrate it with me? And can you soothe me when times are bad? Right? And the last one is engagement. Am I your priority? Do you value me? And can I feel that value? Right? A lot of relationships fail because one person or 2 people are lacking in emotional responsiveness, or one person is really great at emotional responsiveness and the other person is just not, right? And if you are not able to understand emotional responsiveness, not able to become emotionally responsive, a lot of times you lose out on really good partners, right? Because you can't be with somebody and you don't understand, engagement, which is, are they priority? Can you feel like you're of value to them, right? Do they express that value enough? Do they celebrate your good times, and can they soothe you in your bad times, right? And again, accessibility, are they available, or are you available when I need you? Or can I access you when I need you or need something from you? Like, it's important that you're an emotionally responsive partner, right? And if you're not, you can always learn. But I think that the thing is, society has taught us that relationships are not important, right? Society has taught us that, we need to keep our emotions in the back. Our emotional needs are less important than our financial needs, right? So the financial needs always rises to the top and emotional needs are like down there. And you hear people say stuff like, I don't want to seem too needy, or I feel like if I express this, I'll be too needy, or I'll come across like as if I'm not independent enough. Like, the world is teaching us that we need to consistently push for more independence, when that's not actually true. You were created to want relationships. You weren't created to be alone or to do life alone, right? You were created to seek relationships. And I'm not even speaking about just romantic relationships. I'm speaking about platonic relationships, friendships as well. You were created to be in some type of bond with other human beings. So when you consistently seek out independence and consistently seek out, you want to seem like the most independent person ever, you don't want to be the dependent friend, or you don't want to be the dependent partner, and your emotional needs are not important, or they're not as important as financial needs, it pushes you into a place where you're not an emotionally responsive person, right? You're probably financially responsive, you are probably great at going to the gym, and you're really fit, but you're not emotionally responsive. And it affects how you connect and how you show up in your relationships, platonic and romantic. The next thing is the ability to resolve conflict. Like I said in my first point, you're going to fight, right? And conflict is going to happen. In healthy relationships, you have to understand that conflict is not a bad thing, right? A lot of times it's a good thing to expose the parts that maybe need work, expose the parts that maybe the other person is dissatisfied with or not comfortable with, right? And if you read my new book, On Top the Relationship, I write about conflict resolution, how to navigate conflict resolution, how to even avoid it in the first place, right? I'm going to put a link in the description below so you can get the book. If you've seen all the reviews I've posted, it's a really, really good book, because I go in depth and explain a lot of stuff that you can even do to avoid certain conflict that you're having in your relationship. Maybe you're constantly fighting with your partner about, oh, if you don't call me, don't you know that if I don't call you, don't you know you call me, stuff like that. And sometimes we just need to understand that if a woman comes to you and says, oh, I called you first, but I call you a lot, she's really telling you that I want attention from you. I want you to call me, right? And there's nothing wrong in her wanting that attention. She might not present it that way because of the way she says it, but that's what she's saying. And it's important that men understand that, okay, she's communicating that she likes being called by me. She's communicating that I'm important and she wants to hear from me. And she doesn't always want to be the one that's reaching out, so it doesn't feel like as if she's constantly like only reaching out, but she's constantly like bugging me and stuff like that. One of the things that can affect your emotional responsiveness is childhood trauma. And typically, let's say you grew up in a house where you weren't paying that much attention, or your parents were not available when you needed them. They didn't treat you like a priority or like a person of value. When you now get older, right, you start to think that that's normal. So if you now date somebody who needs all of these things, it's like, why are you being so needy? I'm not a needy person. No, dear, is because of your trauma. Hello. It's not because you don't need an emotional responsiveness. It's because it's not the norm for you. You're not used to experiencing it because you've grown up like your entire like formative years. It wasn't there, right? And even though you did need it, you grew up not having it. So now you think it's normal to not have it. So when you now become a partner, you don't see the need to give it, right? When in actuality, the reason why a lot of relationships fail is because this thing is missing. Is because people are not emotionally responsive enough, and they don't take the time out to actually heal as to why they might not be emotionally responsive. So if you know that you're watching this video, this kind of resonates with you or your partner, like I always say in all of my like Instagram, Twitter, anywhere that I actually put out content, go to therapy, darlings. Go to therapy. Heal, guys, heal. But yeah, go to therapy. It's very important. Go to therapy. Deal with your issues, deal with your childhood trauma, heal, understand that some things that were norm for you, that you've developed kind of like survival, right, are not actually correct. They're not actually like normal, right? And when you meet people who have come from maybe households where their parents are emotionally responsive to them, you now start to think that that's odd. They are too needy, or why they show so much emotions, or okay, great, you're vulnerable, okay, but I'm not, let's move on, right? Another thing that can maybe prevent you from being emotionally responsive is maybe, I mean, all of us know that adulting is hard. Life is tough. If you're in Nigeria, so English. If you're a Nigerian, shut up. If you're a Nigerian, adulting in Nigeria, life is probably 3 times harder than the average adult. One of the things that may be affecting your emotional responsiveness is being overwhelmed with work and stress. So if your partner now comes to you that, oh, this is how my day went, or this was going on with me, and your response is probably blank, you need to find a way to like de-stress, to let go of all of that like that is overwhelming you, that is building up, so that you can show up better for the people that you care about and the people that love you. Another thing is, again, like I said, the way you grow up. You're probably telling yourself that this one is not an adult. Why do you require me to be keeping you as priority or checking up on you and stuff like that? But again, go to therapy and heal, my darlings. Okay, so you can be better partners. Okay, yeah, you get the point. So to recap, conflict is normal. It's not if you have conflict, it's how. If you follow me on Instagram, I have a video up about fighting styles, and you should totally check out that video because it will help better explain what I'm saying here. When it comes to healthy relationships, right, you have to understand that if you're coming from a toxic relationship, if you're coming from a place where maybe you've not been paid attention, or your partner did not see the need to spend quality time with you, and you now go and date somebody who is someone who is healed, someone who understands how to be in a healthy relationship, somebody who's giving you the kind of attention and love that you deserve, right? It's normal for you to feel like, oh my God, I want to run away. Oh my God, this is not for me, or this is too much, or this person is being too much, like I said, go to therapy. Yeah, heal. It's very important. It's very, very important that you heal, because you would end up pushing like a really good person away, because you don't understand that the way that they are treating you now is normal, and where you're coming from, the bloody trenches. Like, you will not understand that where you're coming from is bloody trenches, and you shouldn't have been there in the first place. Healthy relationships also require a lot of communication. Like, you cannot do relationships with somebody else without communicating. You cannot do that. And when it comes to being a healthy one, there has to be open communication, because if there isn't, like, one person will start to get resentful from things that they're not saying, the other person will be resentful because this other person is probably not saying the things that they expect them to say. Yes, a whole mess. So communication is a really, really big thing. If you're someone who's not confrontational, and you're one of those people that if something happens, you run away, or you stop speaking to the person for 2 days, or you stop trying to see the person, yeah, that's also problematic, right? If something happens, like, you should like have it at the back of your head that yes, you're not a confrontational person, but if you don't understand that the confrontation is going to help this relationship, right, you keep dancing around the issue. And a lot of times what we do is we dance around the issue and go like in circles, go, circle around it and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, sometimes what ends up ending the relationship is the one thing that you refuse to confront that you should have from weeks or months back, right? So yeah, healthy relationships will involve a lot of communication. It will involve two people who are willing to work as a team and work together. And also just to note how healthy relationships are not impossible, right? Yes, they require work, but they're not impossible. And it's not work that is from just one person. It's from both people, right? Like I always say, or like I've said a lot of times on my Twitter and my threads, see, you guys, finding a sensible person that really loves you, that treats you well, that is not mad, that is not insane, it's a very heavy task, because people do normally mean normally. Yeah, the streets are really rough. People are really meant on top of that street place. But yeah, if you find somebody who really prioritizes you and loves you and is willing to do the work, right, don't expect them to be perfect, because they're not going to be. Actually make the effort yourself, right? And if you can, like, if it's possible, Seth, and I always recommend this thing: don't wait till you get married, right, or till you're about to get married, or 3 months before you get married, you now decide that, oh, we should be going to couples therapy, or we should start going to counseling. No, I always suggest do therapy even while you're dating, right? Because understand that, okay, fine, there are things that you're not going to be able to say that you want to say, and therapy gives you that like room for, okay, there's someone that has neutral ground in this space, so I can communicate what it is I'm communicating, and this person will hear me and we'll be able to have like a conversation. Therapy is important even during like your dating phase. And another thing is, especially for Christian couples, right, I don't think it's emphasized enough how marriage is going to be a lot. Yeah. And if you guys follow me, you know that I'm all for, if you're going to be married to somebody, if you're going to date somebody, before you even like venture down that road, if you're going to be in a committed relationship, go to therapy, please. Heal your childhood trauma, heal your brokenness, like expose what it is you are running away from to the light. So yeah, go to therapy, heal, consider all the points I've stated for healthy relationships, and take my courses. Take emotional intelligence courses. Let me be your coach, because I'm like a bad guy at this thing. Thank you for watching. Please remember to hit the subscribe button, comment, let me know what you think, share your thoughts with me. I always want to hear from you guys. Share this video, and see you on my next video. Bye.